"You want us to go check that out, Billy?" he asked. "I reckon not. They'll be gone before we could get there. Besides, I have a feeling they won't be back. Leastways not without a lot more men." "Your name's Billy?" Mark asked curiously. The man offered a hand that Mark gladly shook. "Yes," he replied. "Billy Borrego. Guillermo Borrego IV, to be exact." "You're Billy the Kid," Mark exclaimed as he shook the man's hand like he was starstruck. The man laughed. "Nobody's called me that to my face in a long time, mister, but yeah, that's who I am." The women had made their way over, and Mark, still pumping Billy's arm up and down, introduced them to the rancher. "Guys, this is Billy the Kid who saved us," he said as if he was introducing Babe Ruth. "Billy, this is Letty, and Chris, that's Susan, and the tall one is Olga. And this, Billy, this is my wife Jess. Girls, this is Billy the Kid. He's famous." "I don't know if I'd go that far. My great-grandpa was a famous one," the man grinned. "You think I could have my hand back now?" "Oh, sorry, Billy." "That's okay. Let me introduce you to my boys," he said as he waved the other men over. "This is Pete, Marty, Juan, and J.D., Billy said as he pointed at each one. "The fellow in the back is Mick." Billy put his arm around the man who was his opposite. "This ugly, mean sumbitch is Jose Villa, my ranch foreman and my best friend in the whole world." "It's really nice to meet you all," Mark said, "and I'm not just saying that. If you all hadn't have helped us, we'd probably be buzzard chow." A voice called out from the fence line. "Mark, is that you?" It was Jim. Everyone turned their heads and looked toward the spot where the MZBs had been a few minutes ago. No one appeared where the voice had come from, but it was getting fairly dark. "Yeah, Jim, it's us. Come on over. There are some people I want you to meet," Mark called back. "That's my best friend, Jim," he said to Billy and his men. "We called them for help, but I think they would have been too late." Jim and the 8 guys he brought with him came over, and introductions were made all around. Mark sure everyone knew that Billy's great-grandfather fought in the war for Texas independence. Billy put on an aw shucks show, but he seemed to enjoy the notoriety. "So now I know who everyone is but you," Billy said to Mark. "Oh, crap, I'm sorry," Mark said. "My name's Mark Turner." "Mark Turner?" Now it was Billy's turn to act surprised. "Well, shit. Hey, boys, this here's Mark Turner. You know, the karate man." "Hell, karate man, you're the one who's famous, and now I can see why. Your buddy was rushing 5 or 6 men by himself," Billy told Jim. "I don't know how he can even walk around with a big set of huevos like that," Billy winked. Mark hung his head and kicked his toe into the ground, hoping it was dark enough that his reddening face couldn't be seen. The new acquaintances made small talk for a few minutes. Mark noticed Chris flirting with one of Billy's young guys, but he seemed more interested in Letty, who was oblivious to the fact. Mark half listened to Jim's and Billy's conversation while he ran through the events of the last hour in his mind. "So, karate man, what were y'all doing on my ranch?" Billy asked, snapping Mark out of his thoughts. Mark explained how they'd started scouting for groups that might cause them trouble before they just showed up on the doorstep. He told Billy they'd found a group that seemed to be watching the subdivision, and the scout team was backtracking to see where they had come from when his group started taking fire from the hill. Then the others showed up and caught them in the crossfire. "And you know the rest," Mark said. "Yeah, I do," the older man said with a grin that embarrassed Mark again. "I better call the command post," Jim said. "Gunny's probably having a cow about now."